executive coach for elite entrepreneurs, high achievers. And all that means is I just help you guys operate at higher levels mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Really, I'm just a human performance coach. So today's topic is really about handling objections, but handling objections with yourself. And if you have not downloaded the free accountability calendar, which we're going to talk about, which is going to be a big part as far as your accountability, you can get that inside the link of the bio, TamyColiver.com/calendar. So let's just get into it. So I just did an hour and a half coaching call with my inner circle. We have our team huddles every single Thursday. And today we're really talking about overcoming objections, but not in the way that we're taught when it comes to sales. It's more about a goal for yourself, and there's something that you're wanting to achieve. What are the excuses getting in the way? What are your objections as to why you are not achieving the thing that you actually want? It's an important conversation because a year goes by, 6 months go by, 3 months go by, and we haven't achieved our goals. Well, what are the dominant thoughts that keep coming up to you? Something we could do is create an excuse list. Mostly we want to learn how to handle our own objections. And so one of the biggest things, like I did an interview maybe like a few weeks back, and the question was really about like, how did I get to the space that I'm at? Like, how did I overcome suicidal thoughts? How did I overcome 60 pounds? How did I overcome addiction? How do I overcome this stuff? And it's not necessarily, we hear a lot of our peers and our mentors talk about this uphill climb. But a lot of times what happens, it's like it's an up and then it's a down. It's an up and it's a down. It's an up and a down until it's not anymore. And part of that process of gaining that understanding, what are the excuses and what are the objections that are getting in the way? And the biggest thing is like when you set a really big goal, I'll give you an example. Something I've learned is we all have ceilings. When we have goals and when we have dreams, it's like we create higher standards and higher expectations for ourselves. And that's amazing because any part of setting a goal, you're going to have to become somebody else in order to achieve that goal. You can't keep operating in the same mindset and the same habits, the same behaviors in order to achieve that next level that you're looking to achieve. You have to move differently. You have to think differently. You have to make decisions differently. And I'll give an example because this is a big one. This is the big time excuse that I hear from a lot of people is like, I want to wake up earlier. All right, well, you know you want to wake up earlier. That's the goal because there's something that you're wanting to achieve in the morning. Maybe it's like actually time for yourself or waking up and you're not having to rush. You're not in that rush, panic, stressful, anxious energy. You actually want to have some time to pour into you so that whatever you end up doing for your business in your life, it ends up being, you end up getting it done a lot more efficiently. And there's that moment in time where we have to make a decision, where that alarm goes off and we're like, hold on, wait a second. I'm really comfortable right now. And in this moment of time, the thought of me getting out of bed at 4:45 a.m. is pretty painful, and I'm really cozy, and I really don't technically have to be anywhere. But you set a goal that you wanted to go and work out or spend some quiet time in the morning to work on your goals. And you get to make a decision in that moment of time, whether to hit that snooze alarm or to actually get up and do the thing that you said you were going to do. And in a moment of time, there's a visualization exercise. I actually shared this with my inner circle. I'll share with you guys tonight. Is you close your eyes for a moment. Just do this with me. If you close your eyes for a moment, and you're in that moment of time where you're at that crossroad and you have to make a decision. Where we'll just use the same example we're using now, where you get up and you're like, hey, I can lay in bed. I hit the snooze alarm, and it's called a permission-based statement. So you give yourself permission to like just stay in bed and to continue on with this one habit, to cave into it. And then what? So that big part of asking yourself that question, and then what, is really what like shape shifts the whole dialogue. So what are the objections that you're currently having with your goals? One of the things that I learned with Abraham Hicks is that when you get clear on what you want, your desire, and also your beliefs and your feelings uncomfortable, that means there's a lack of harmony between the two. So if you don't feel good about the thought of your goal and you feel like uncomfortable, that means that there is not a harmony between the two of them. And if you use that, perfect. Cashman, you're going to love the conversation tonight. It's all about handling self-objections. So when we set targets and we create higher ceilings and higher standards for ourselves, what are the objections that we have within showing up for those higher standards and those goals and those things that we set? Because in that moment, there's going to be a gap. And every single day, we have the ability and the ability and the capability to make a decision. So even if it is something where you promised yourself you were going to get up an hour earlier to go do your workout, or you're going to start eating healthier, or you're going to get to bed, you're going to set boundaries and get to sleep on time, and you don't, and you know what's on the other side. You know there's a consequence, but yet you still don't show up for that goal, even those simple goals. So one thing that everybody talks about in sales and in marketing and closing is about handling objections. But what about when you're trying to close yourself? What about when you're trying to lead yourself and persuade yourself? Because in the moment of time, you're setting big goals for yourself. It's you. And the more clear you are on what your objections are as to why you're not showing up or where the resistance is with your goals and your dreams and your visions, the more you're able to handle those objections as they get brought up in the morning when the alarm goes off and it's time to go work out, or when it's time to actually stop what you're doing, take a break and go and eat something healthy, stop and go into meditation to create emotional stability because of all the external stresses going on and your nervous system is all whacked out, and your goal is to get off your anxiety medication. So it really comes down to what are the things going on in my head, and giving yourself permission to even doing this visualization exercise that I'm going to reshare with you guys, as far as okay, if you have that rebellious side of you where it's kind of I'm going to say F it, and you have your goals and you know what you need to execute, and in that moment of time you don't want to do it because of whatever objection maybe you're tired, maybe you've had a long day, maybe you just want to act out, whatever that objection may be, and you think about okay, I give myself permission to oversleep. I give myself permission to put on Netflix versus do my live streams and do my social media posts or whatever it is that my goals are. There's your DMOs. You have daily methods of operations of how you have to show up in order to achieve that goal that might happen in 3 years from today, or 5 years from today, or in 2 years from today. But you say, okay, well, I go and I do this instead, or I go and I watch Netflix, or I hit my alarm clock and I allow it to pass through, and then what? That pain is still going to be there because you said you were going to show up for it, right? So today I want to encourage you, get clear on what those excuses are that are in your head, and then come up with rebuttals. Come up with rebuttals yeah, you know what? I know you're tired. I know you've been working hard. I know you've been putting in the hours. I know that you've been doing the thing and you're not really seeing the results that you want, but keep going. Keep going. Keep going and focus on service. I know that you're going to the gym, you're putting in the work, and you might not see the physical impact on your body, but keep going because you're feeling better. You're feeling stronger, you're feeling healthier. And then eventually you're going to see and reap the harvest. You're going to reap eventually the benefit. But today, show up. Show up. This was part of your goal. This is part of your DMO, your daily methods of operation. This is part of your systems in place that you've put in place. You know, when you go to the gym, it's going to help you quiet the chaos of the mind. It's going to give you more clarity. You're going to have more peace. Keep showing up. What else am I going to do? I'm going to sit here, I'm going to lay around, feel sorry for myself. What's the alternative? Most of the time, if we allow ourselves and give ourselves permission, like even in just the visualization work, to run out that storyline of the alternative, which we're very clear on the alternative because we've been living the alternative for a very long time. So if you're clear on the alternative, you've been living the alternative for a long time, think about, well, what if I do things differently? And let me see what happens if I follow through with the other stuff. Even if I don't see the results right away, right? It's like learning how to dance. You're not going to be a pro dancer like after a few classes. You have to keep showing up. You're not going to be a successful business person. Like most of the business people I actually meet that are running multiple 7-figure businesses, something like on a whim, haven't really seen results until 3+ years later. So what makes you think anything else that you're doing is going to get results in just like a moment of time? You know, there's rolling up your sleeve work to this. But the point is, once you're clear on what you want, get clear that there's going to be objections that come as part of the process. There's going to be excuses that are going to get in the way to try to block your blessings. And the faster you start to allow those objections to have a voice and learning how to handle those objections, the faster you're going to be able to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. All right. So I hope today's live stream kind of gave you some inspiration. It was a little bit more strategies. Yeah, I know. Got little roses. Send them here. I want some real ones. So I figured Hash Money, you'd like that one, right? Because you're always talking about you're the goat of all this stuff. But what about when it comes to our own objections? What about when it comes to our own dreams and our visions and our goals? And at the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves if we are actually showing up or if we're making excuses. And the faster we can get clear on our excuses, the faster we can bridge the gap. All right. Keep showing up, keep doing your thing. If nobody's told you today, I believe in you and I'm proud of you, and keep crushing it because you're doing amazing. And the more you show up, there's just the world needs it, right? And one thing I do, because people sometimes do better with the opposite, if you know better, do better. And today you know better, so do better. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, you guys.